Hello everybody, I'm the Mr. C, and this is my one-wheel crisis.
Hello everybody. Well, there's been an accident. On Memorial Day, after spending the day cleaning up my neighborhood, I went for a celebratory ride. I can't really remember what happened, but I did take a spill. I'd like to regale you with a story of great battle fought for balance that was doomed to its inevitable failure. But no. As far as I can tell, I went over like a corpse on my left side. Didn't even get to put my arms up. You can tell by the side the scrapes are on. And I guess that's better because the most common and most painful injury on the one wheel is a broken clavicle. This usually occurs because people try to stop themselves from falling with their hands. And that's why I wear wrist guards, as history has taught me I'm wont to do this. Either way, 4 broken ribs, a partially deflated lung, and likely a concussion. Now, I say likely because I know what a concussion feels like, but at the same time, look at this helmet. So there's that. I laid unconscious in the street for about 30 minutes, rough estimate from the time frame. Came to and dragged myself in the beast. He's fine, thank you for asking. Into a ditch/yard. I was not quite in it and I collapsed. Upon collapsing on my back, I realized that was an issue area. So, as loath as I was to do it, I called my wife. And her first question was, "Where are you?" I honestly didn't know. I advised her to use the tracking software on our phones. Last thing I remember was passing by Poplar Grove on Millridge Parkway, which for those of you who are unfamiliar with the area is roughly 1.5 miles away from where I actually was. Sadly, I'm most irritated that I blanked a perfectly good bombing session in one of my favorite places to do it. Well, went to the local hospital, and the lady there who was set to taking my blood did not appear to be trained to do this. When she didn't find gold on the initial jab, she would start to root around, with the needle still in my arm. And after the 4th attempt, I started to impugn her and her education in the top of my lungs, or at least what at the time was roughly 1,000 milliliters worth of lung. Now, I may have been unkind. People quickly came to my room when this occurred. Apparently, according to them, I was suffering from a little anxiety. They brought 2 more people in, and it took 7 tries to get blood out of me.
I've heard all the arguments phlebotomists make about how patients are sensitive to needles or needle pain, and if it's not done in the first thrust, then it's digging. And I will admit that I'm not fond of needles, but I know what ineptitude looks like. The expert came in with a sonogram and advised her that she was attempting to pierce an artery. And I swear she asks, "How can you tell?" I was officially done at this point.
And after all this, the first lady says, "It's time for a tetanus shot." Now, in this instance, I was unkind. There was no maybe about it. But because of the less than optimal lung, I needed to be moved into a trauma ward, but the hospital I was at didn't have one. So then the 10-mile ride to Chippenham Hospital was pleasant enough. Individually, the nurses were kind enough and seemed to know what they were doing. Well, that was except for the sexist one who told me that all men were babies. Now, as a cohesive team, they weren't quite so much. The passing of information and all that important stuff didn't seem as important to them. Now, if you know anything about broken ribs, there's not a lot you can do about it. I mean, they send you home with some drugs and that's it. Their one goal in this was to find a pain medication that I could go home with. Unfortunately, anything stronger than an NSAID, and either it doesn't work on me or I become violently ill. The hospital was happy to try all of them on me for 4 days. So, I was sick with broken ribs for 4 days, and they told me I couldn't go home because I was sick. The irony that they were making me sick completely avoided them. So at 3 a.m. on the last day, I told them no more drugs, and I was going home at 12 p.m. that day. I was seriously concerned about them addicting me to drugs that I couldn't take. And suddenly people with machines and specialists showed up. And I couldn't tell if they were trying to keep me there or if it was more of a CYA type thing. Needless to say, I left the hospital at 12:30 with several prescriptions for drugs that I can't take. Thank you, Chippingham Hospital. But, in all honesty, the first 3 days were the worst pain-wise. Now it's just excessively uncomfortable, and I find myself out of breath more than usual. I have 9 weeks before I can even consider getting back on the beast. That is exactly August 5th. At first, I thought, well, there goes my YouTube channel, as the algorithm is merciless. I had to be honest with myself. It's not like I'm taking YouTube by storm, but I figure I can do some videos that don't have me on the board. The harrowing adventure, maybe how the one wheel works / safety video, and yes, the irony does not escape me on that. And maybe a Q&A video, as I see some of the other YouTubers from time to time do. I know my viewers are not want to leave comments in my videos, so we shall have to see. If you have any questions you would like answered, let me know. I'll do my best. I just really wanted to update everyone, let them know I was okay, and things were going to slow down for a little bit, at least the next 2 months, until I get this taken care of. Thanks for listening, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon. Okay, I'll say it. Thanks for spending the time and taking the ride. And remember, if you'd like to help me or my channel, the best way you can do this is by liking, subscribing, and sharing the living bejeebus out of my videos.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.